All right, starting week 3, very intense practice. Had an additional challenge today with the heat. You know, it's 20 degrees warmer today than it was last week, and so I thought they handled it really good. Now, I'm not saying it didn't tax them, you know, physically and mentally a little bit, but I was really happy with the way they pushed through. You know, going back to the scrimmage Saturday, after we looked at the film, it's kind of what I talked to you about post-practice. A lot of good, and you know, all of the bad is correctable stuff. You know, stuff you just got to clean up. You know, you kind of, you know, what's stopping you is yourself, and that's both sides of the ball. You know, and so that's what we challenged them this week to, you know, get things cleaned up. Where, you know, now all of a sudden, you know, was that a great play because of execution and because somebody did something special, or was it because of a bust on the other side? And so, you know, you want to get it to where it's because of execution, somebody doing something special with the ball. So that's, you know, that's a real challenge this week. You know, we want to play better both sides of the ball and special teams Saturday than we did last Saturday. And if we can do that, I'll be really, really happy going into our last week of spring practice.
How important is it to make a jump this week? You know, third week of spring practice, coming off the first real scrimmage, and you kind of improve as a team.
Well, I think the thing you want to do, your last of your installs are going in this week. We've thrown a lot at them, both sides of the ball. You know, there's all this offensive stuff is brand new, and so they're, you know, the kids are having to spend extra time on their own just to make sure they have everything down. Because, you know, if you're wanting to play fast, you can't be thinking. You know, it's gotta be just like that. And so, you know, that jump this week is got to be in the execution phase offensively, and I think defensively the jump has got to be handling the speed of the offense. I thought we struggled with that a little bit on Saturday, and so you know, this Saturday's scrimmage, just really want to see, you know, that tremendous improvement there with those two things.
You mentioned the heat. How do you get the boys ready to handle that plus 10 degrees and also go fast this summer?
Well, you know, we had them, you know, as far as today, you know, we talked to them about hydrating, you know, yesterday, get a good night's sleep, hydrating throughout the day today. But, you know, you got to condition yourself, and that's, you know, thankfully we have fall camp to, you know, condition us to the heat. You know, a couple of our opponents coming in here early in the season, I hope it's blistering hot, you know, when they come in here, because, you know, at least our kids are used to, you know, practicing in it. Yeah, it's you know, that's the thing. It's 80 something today. It's going to be 60 on Friday, Saturday. So, you know, that's spring in Eastern North Carolina.
We've talked a lot about the guys y'all brought in as transfers. What about the returning guys, especially offensively? Have any of those returning offensive players stood out through a few weeks of spring?
Well, I think if you're just looking at Saturday, I thought Dustin Hall had a great scrimmage on Saturday. I thought that, I mean, he looked like a really, really good player there in the middle. I thought Parker Moore had a really good day on Saturday, and I know that you know, he's playing with more confidence this spring than, you know, maybe he has in the past. You know, I think Marlon Gunn, you know, he's, you know, shown flashes of what you know, I thought he was going to be last year, and you know, I think he's practicing a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. You know, Tyler Savage, we've talked about him before. You know, probably as much improvement as anybody on that side of the football. I mean, he's shown himself to be a guy that's going to play this fall, and a guy that we can depend on. Chase Sowell, it's good to get him back Saturday. Of course, he had an explosive play with a long touchdown catch. We broke 2 tackles. And there's a Jari Patterson is having a really solid spring. So there's lots of our returners that I'm really pleased with. Keelan Robinson has shown some flashes this spring, like he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the rotation. Yeah, it's a lot of guys on that side of the ball.
With the edge position, you know, with Jeremy Lewis and Jack Parrish moving on, how has the competition gone there to kind of replace those guys?
There's a lot. You know, talking about the rush, the boundary side position, you know, I think it's a pretty heated battle with Raheem Craig and Sam Danka. I'm very pleased with Raheem. I think he's come in and really embraced that position, and he's shown a lot of twitch off the edge, and like he's a natural pass rusher. He's, you know, really improving playing in space, and I think that's helped Sam, you know, because Sam is having to play really, really hard and really at a higher level than he has in the past. So I think those two guys are doing a good job. I think the field end position, you have your guys back from last year, so it's kind of the same group.
How's the leadership council for this year's team shaping up so far?
good. I mean, it's all guys that have been here multiple years. It's guys that are A, really good players, and B, really solid leaders from a character standpoint in our locker room. And I think that they're doing a good job with not only helping me with things that we're doing, but they're doing a good job of holding some young guys accountable if they're having issues going to class or issues doing this or that. And so that's great to see. But I just it's a group that I think the world of. So I would expect nothing less.
Are y'all still, with the quarterbacks kind of splitting the reps the same way throughout?
The scrimmage Saturday, they both had equal reps. We looked at the stat stuff this morning. They were very even stat-wise. Continue to rotate them back and forth with the ones and the twos. And right now, I mean, you guys have seen some of it too. I mean, it's neck and neck. Now, each of them does things a little bit differently, but they both played really well.
Anything else for Coach? Appreciate it, Coach. Thank
Okay.
you.